Right, we've just done an overnight sail and we're entering Blyth Harbour. Quite a commercial harbour, it's quite busy. It's a requirement to call them on VHF channel 12. And there's your wind turbines, helps you spot it from sea. There used to be another one on that breakwater, but I think they've taken that down.
There's leading lights as well, or leading...
Well, they have taken it down, because it's not there, is it? But no sailing within the harbour. Engine only. Bit of swell on the entrance, but nothing difficult. That's us moored up at Visitors Pontoon on the Royal Northumberland Yacht Club. Very wide approach, very easy. That's the view from the Royal Northumberland Yacht Club deck. And I say deck because it's a converted or renovated lightship, the LV50. Originally built for Trinity House in 1879. Very interesting history. You can get a curry and a pint in there for £7.60. Those boys and girls know what they're about. And that's the photo of the Blyth Tall Ship Active Volunteer Restoration Project. It's a sister vessel to the Williams, which was originally built in Blyth, and the vessel that sailed on to discover Antarctica. And they're going to restore that vessel, the Williams 2, and sail it to Antarctica in 2019. Fantastic. That's my father-in-law Phil here, giving benediction to the waves. There you go, Phil. He'd look good with a pointy hat and a car that looks like a greenhouse.
Yeah.
Or perhaps he's giving someone the finger. That was Coquette Island. And that's Bamberg Castle. Or is that Dunstanburgh Castle? Do you know what? I think that's Dunstanburgh Castle. So many castles around here. Big old boy, that one. That's Bamberg Castle. Just a bit further up. There's the Megstone. Inner Farne with the lighthouse. That's the east and west wide opens. Another little islet there, it's called the Bush. No smutty jokes, please. That's us anchored up in the Kettle. Well, that's our Farne 27. Lovely anchorage just by Inner Farne. I don't know why the video went into slow motion here. I think it thought it was getting all dramatic. But we landed and we were heading over to the National Trust. I don't know, you can see that anchorage, it's quite shallow, but you can see where the sandy patches are. There's a least depth of 4 metre, it says on Navionics, in the middle of that, but you can see those tripper buoys, and you don't want to use those buoys, and you don't want to get in the way of those tripper boats, either the day tripper boats. They're quite busy. Just anchor off to the side and make sure you don't anchor in kelp. And you'll be fine, but absolutely lovely anchorage. You could overnight here in settled weather if you've got the draft and you pick the spot. There's your puffins, bird lover's wet dream. Unfeasible looking things, they really are. Herring gulls, terns, cormorants, all that. Very tame because it's a National Trust land. They don't seem to have learnt to fear people. You can get really close to them. Look at that. Lovely things. There's one there. I don't know what it's doing there. There's the Inner Sound. Quite strong currents in there. There's one getting a bit of choir practice in. Good on you. Lovable little fellas. Thousands and thousands of puffins. I'm not particularly a bird lover, but I've got to say, they're likeable little fellas. That's another photograph of us anchored up, the Longstone Lighthouse there in the distance on the next island out, built 1825. Turning its back to me. Didn't like the look of me. There's one doing some acrobatics. Very defensive. They're young at that time. That was an accidental shot, but lovely one with the turns. Now that's us sailing back down. There's Dunstanburgh Castle again. Sailing back down south, back down to our, eventually to Scarborough via a couple of stopovers. There's 7 knots on Navionics, and that was in about 17 knots of wind, but that's with the tide behind us, obviously, because that was fairly shifting.
7.
Great sail. Anyway, cheers.